The theme of today's video is going to be whining, complaining, moaning, and groaning. So I want to hear all of your opinions down below. Maybe a little bit of a negative comment section, but I want to jump into this. Okay, so first things first, what in the world, Plarium? What in the world? I mean, some things I typically just go over the things that are a little bit negative. But I mean, look at this fusion, okay? So we have down here at the bottom, we have the mushroom dude. Mushroom Priest Ornn, Mycelic Priest Ornn. This guy is very good. He was nerfed, but he's still very good, to be honest. Like, I just read over his kit after being nerfed. As soon as I get him, I will do a video with 100 runs of him soloing whatever areas of the game he can solo. We'll try to get it as close to 100% as possible for those of you who are interested in doing it. I know a lot of people have already done it with a lot of builds, but it was before the nerf, so we're going to see how he works after the nerf. But that's not the most, I guess, frustrating thing about this. Obviously, if you want to do this fusion event, you have to do literally everything. And let's check this out, okay? So we have a champion chase here, which means you're going to have to open some shards. So tomorrow, which is Friday, we have a 2x Sacred alongside a 10x for a different champion, which I'll talk about that in a little bit, about pulling for the event. We have one champion chase tournament there, and then we have a summon rush down here. So you're going to have to summon. Like, if you want to get this fusion champion, you have to summon. You have no choice but to do every single event. Now, this wouldn't be too bad if the events were pretty easy to do. I mean, this is a holiday fusion, so you would kind of think with the holidays that Plarium would maybe be a little bit more generous, maybe give us a really good champion with not as much effort required. But I guess it's more of a holiday. Let's get the players to spend a little bit more of their resources. So I wanted to show you all the champion training tournament. So down here at the bottom, 9350. That is a lot of points for a lot of players. I'm going to do this. I plan on going for the fusion, but 9,350 points for the first champion training event, which is right here. And then actually the first two, sorry, you get 2 champions total. You have to get them all. Granted, you can technically get these champions from ancient shards or mystery shards. Sorry if my voice sounds messed up. I'm still getting a little bit over this sickness, but we have a champion training tournament there. We probably have a champion training tournament down here as well. I'm hoping this one, the champion is in this lower bracket. I mean, it'd be kind of crazy if he's at the higher bracket as well. But either way, it's this one. I got a feeling if we have any more duplicated like that, they're going to be crazy high points. But kicking it off, that is a lot of points for this stuff. So the fusion starts off with being pretty difficult. The second thing I want to talk about is less about Plarium and more so about this champion. So is this champion actually worth going for? I haven't done a video on this champion yet. I've seen a lot of talks about this champion basically being Lysandra. And my opinions on that is if you have Lysandra, you're not using this champion. If you don't have Lysandra, this is a good champion. I mean, she brings a lot of speed manipulation stuff on that A3 ability. But on the flip side, we have a Void epic champion who also brings a lot of turn meter manipulation plus 2 AoE abilities. So she's very good in a stun set for faction wars. That A3 ability, granted different factions, but her A3 ability books down to a 4-turn cooldown, which is the same as Morgane's, I believe. Places a 30% decreased speed on all enemies for 2 turns and decreases the turn meter of all enemies by 40%. Very, very good speed manipulator. Basically, my point with this champion is she's a really good speed manipulator, but in my opinion, I would definitely not say she's a Lysandra. Let's go over why. So first off, her A1 ability is a single target, decreased speed, which is great. I mean, decreased speed is a great debuff. Single target, not amazing. I mean, I would almost rather it just be AoE, maybe a little bit lower chance to actually place it because it's still not a 100% chance. It's a 50% chance, booked up to a 70% chance. If you have Sniper, it goes to 75% chance, but it just feels weird being a single target ability. Her A2 ability has a 75% chance of stealing all buffs from a target enemy, which isn't bad. I mean, it's a single target ability. It's not really anything super special. Also, 75% chance, both of those book up to 100% chance of placing True Fear on all enemies. True Fear is good because if the enemy tries to use, say, their A3 ability, True Fear activates, their A3 ability goes on cooldown. So it is nice in that sense, but True Fear still is RNG, so it may not even activate even if they have that True Fear on them. I kind of wish this had a different effect. I don't necessarily want to say like ignores block debuffs or can't be resisted. That may be OP. I don't really know, but it could be cool. And it would definitely make this champion interesting enough to be more encouraged to go for. I mean, Lysandra's A2 ability is so incredibly good. if you're comparing these two champions to each other, Lysandra fully depletes the target's turn meter. That's not 100% depletion, that's a full depletion. And on stages or areas of the game where you're able to fully deplete the turn meter, it's incredible. So against bosses, instead of doing the True Fear, it'll place decreased accuracy, which is nice. We do have several champions who can do that, I feel. So either way, you could possibly use that. Her A3 ability, this is where the majority of her kit is being focused. This is like the main hype point, I believe, which is 75% chance of decreasing the turn meters of all enemies by 20%, which Lysandra's is a 30% decrease. So Lysandra's is already better than Morgane, which is why I'm saying in majority of areas, if you're using Lysandra, you're probably not going to be bringing this champion instead. The second part of her ability fills the turn meter of all allies by 20%. Lysandra's is a 30% and places 30% increased speed, which is the same as Lysandra's, on all allies for 2 turns. So this ability is good. If you don't have a Lysandra, or if you need this champion for Faction Wars, it's going to be a good champion to go for. But going back to the whole ridiculously challenging fusion, I mean, you got to weigh the pros and the cons. Like, is this going to be worth it for your account? It all depends on where you're at in the game, where you're positioned. She's going to have benefits. She's going to have uses. I don't think she's not anywhere near the level of champions like Helicath, champions along those lines. Of course, she's going to fit in some of your teams, but honestly, once you get to a certain part of the game, she's probably going to fall off pretty hard. That's just my opinion, of course. So, her passive, at the start of each turn, places a 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns on the enemy with the lowest HP. This debuff cannot be removed, transferred, spread, or have its duration increased or decreased by enemies or allies, which is interesting, but I don't think heal reduction's that crazy good. I mean, maybe against some of those Wither teams in the arena, but it's definitely not going to become meta. I mean, it's a single target with the enemy with the lowest HP. So, I mean, that's not very good in my opinion. Very, very niche if it's going to be used whatsoever. Her aura, 19%. So, kit to kit, comparing the champions directly, I would every time take Lysandra over that champion. Obviously, Lysandra is not a fusion though, so it's not a great comparison because if you, like I said, if you have Lysandra, you're probably not going to be using Morgane in the same areas where you would be using Lysandra, but Lysandra got such a good kit. I mean, she has a better speed aura, a better decrease and increase of turn meter, a full turn meter decrease in the A2, and then it transfers all debuffs from this champion on her A1 ability, which is absolutely incredible. The only difference is she doesn't have a decreased speed, but there are quite a few champions in the game who do have decreased speed. Going back to Sylar, an amazing debuff to have. I kind of wish it was AoE on Morgane, but either way, it's going to be completely up to you guys, of course, if you go for the fusion or not. I will be going for the fusion, I believe, just because I got nothing else better to do, I guess. I mean, we're going to go for the fusion. We have the stuff laid out. I could get her for a possible dupe in the future for my Undead Horde, which I do need more dupes of. Definitely need to fill this out. I got one more spot left, which would be nice. I did miss the Tatura fusion a while back and then ended up pulling 2 more copies of him, which was kind of weird. So I will be going for this fusion. I will be going for the champion. But the second thing I want to mention to you guys, and be very, very mindful about this, okay? So tomorrow, we have the 2x Sacred plus a 10x of the Michinaki. Hopefully I said that right. But either way, Ghost Rider, okay? The green Ghost Rider. We have a 10x for this champion, which looks sick. I love the way he looks. Besides that, his kit looks pretty daggone solid, okay? Now, if you're going to be pulling for a new champion who has a pretty good kit, plus a 2x Sacred event, coming off of a Rotos 10x event, looks like we're kind of getting, incentivized pretty heavily to pull shards. Next week, we would be highly incentivized, I'd say, to not pull shards. It's a fusion. There's no real events going to be going on. If they have a, say, extra legendary event on a Tuesday or a guaranteed event on a Thursday, we've had that happen before. So be very mindful. I'm definitely not saying anything like that's coming up, but if you do go for this guy, try to keep your reserve of Sacreds. I know we've been expecting a guaranteed champion from Sacred Shards for a while now, but if you've been saving, maybe not dip too far under 15, which has been the number of Sacreds for previous guaranteed champions. Be mindful about that. And honestly, I would love to go for this champion. I'm very much on the fence on if I want to or not, because I am currently 16 Sacred Shards with no legendary champion. I know 10x's are very, very bad, but my choices right now are to go for this champion during a 2x, which I have an even better chance of actually pulling a legendary. Maybe I get him. It's going to be a 10 times chance to actually get him. Or Save my sacreds for a potential upcoming extra legendary event from Sacred Shards. Let me know what you guys would do. I'm very much split because this guy's kit is awesome. Very, very unique kit. Honestly, if he was a fusion, it'd be a lot easier choice. Even with the difficulty, I think it'd be a very, very solid option. I mean, an AoE strip, basically, that places Hex, decreased defense and decreased attack, burn on the A1, and then an ally attack, basically joining in on allies' attacks if they attack an enemy under Hex. An awesome kit. But either way, I'm debating on that. I do need a pull for the fusion, so I'll probably end up pulling a few sacreds. We'll see. I have 2 before I'm at 15, and I may pick up the monthly pack, which is a pretty decent pack in general. So it's something I'm going to be debating. We have 2 sacreds here. I'm not for sure. Not 100% decided. Hopefully, Clan Boss drops me something. But I guess if I pull 2 or 3 sacreds and I don't get a legendary, then I'll be closer to the fusion, and I will be closer into my mercy system for an extra legendary event coming up. Hopefully, we have an extra legendary event for me before the guaranteed legendary event, but who knows? I believe before, during the Necmo Thar event, we actually had an extra legendary event on Tuesday and the Necmo guaranteed on Thursday, I think is what it was. But either way, guys, I hope you all enjoyed the video. A little bit of a rant there. Honestly, I'm not a fan of this fusion whatsoever as far as the whole breakdown. I think this is just terrible. I don't see any reason why it should be like this. I mean, it's significantly more difficult than other ones in the past. You have to be very meticulous. You have to make sure you complete all of these events. And if you don't, well, then guess what? No more gain for you, which is over. That's all there is to it, guys. Don't forget to drop a like and a sub to the channel if you guys enjoy these videos, and I will catch you all in the next one.